Noxicla here once again. Welcome to episode 17 of Asexuality in Film. Today I will be talking about the movie The Little Sister. But first, this is supposed to taste like strawberry and raspberry, but I don't think it does. It's rather ooh, ooh, yeah, very interesting combo. So anyway, uh, in my first video of this year, when I ranted about book titles and the contents, I mentioned that I would really like to get at least one new follow this year. And during Arrow Week, I actually got 2 new followers. I went from having 6 to now having 8. So yay! Thank you. Like I'm genuinely very excited about all those followers. I was stuck at 6 for so long, but I'm very happy for all 8 of you. So let's actually get into the movie. Little Sister came out in 2016, though it's set in 2008, and it was written and directed by Jack Lark, though there's also a story credited by Melody Sisks. It tells the story of a 21-year-old Colleen Lunsford, who is a non-novitiate. It means she hasn't taken her first vow yet, and after she's taken her first vow, she needs to take her final vow to become a nun. She is part of the convent of the Sisters of Mercy in New York, though she's originally from North Carolina. So her first vows are approaching. She's like mostly doing good, like she's praying, she's saying her grace, she reads the Bible, she does all this charity work and everything about her mother superior, I think it's a term. She is not quite sure if she's fully ready to become a nun, and she thinks she is, but then she gets an email, very 2008 email, from her mother that her brother Jacob has come back from the Iraq War, again 2008, and so she decides that she should go visit home for a bit to make peace with her mother and try to help her brother adjust again, because her brother was in an explosion, so his face is all burned, and she still has her father. He just doesn't really he's not he's not an important component of the movie, of the plot. He's just there, and I guess it's good, like they are happily married still, but he doesn't really overall doesn't really matter. And so she goes back to North Carolina. She meets old friends, both hers and her brothers, and everybody's all surprised when they see her because she has a very like no makeup look. She looks very demure, modest, whatever. When she, as a teenager, she was a goth, and she comes home. Her room is untouched. Everything is black. There's all these metal band posters and music, and like she finds a card that for her 16th birthday went to see Gwar, Gwar band. I don't know what type that is. I don't know what metal that is. My metal was, even though I'm Finnish, my metal was new metal. Sorry, I'm a rap girl or person. Anyway, so and she actually has like an inverted crucifix still on her wall, but she switches it right side up because now she's found God. So she has like an awkward interactions with people, both her family and old friends or acquaintances, because everybody is so weirded out how she looks now, and her seemingly 180 devotion sudden devotion to God or whatever. And she has issues with her mother, although I mean, it doesn't really go into that deeply. Like at one point, it's mentioned that like before she left, like at 18, like she hasn't contacted her family in 3 years. So like when she was 18, her brother went to war, and her mother tried to commit suicide, and that's why she left. And like her mother is now on a bunch of medications, and eventually the mother talks about her depression and stuff like that, but I don't know. So anyway, like Colleen wanted structure, so she left for New York and found a convent, and she's very happy becoming a nun. But the movie is about her reconciling with her family and helping her brother adjust to things. So it's a nice little movie. And but why am I talking about it for asexuality in film? It's like just because like she's a nun, her job description is sexlessness or whatever. But I think I couldn't find any interview or mention of whether or not this is deliberate, but I do think that Colin is written as both an asexual and aromantic character. There's a couple of moments, like she's her high school friend is like, "Do you still have your V card?" As in, "Are you still a virgin?" And she's like, "Lifetime member." And she says like this in a very content way, like she's happy about it and doesn't want that to change. And then there are a couple of other moments, and then towards the end of the movie, Colleen talks with her mother, and her mother asks like, "Are you happy being a nun? Do you enjoy being a nun?" She says, "I do." And "Don't you wish you could have a boyfriend or girlfriend?" And says, "I don't think I want to do that with anyone." And I think in this case, that means both sex and a romantic relationship. So I think that's kind of interesting point of view. Um, to have like this character who's like, because I do think it portrays her devoutness as a rather like, it's a very chill way. Like it's clear that I feel like the movie doesn't question her faith at any point. And she's religious. She reads the Bible. She prays. She wants to help people. Stuff like that. She's like a good Christian, and people just kind of weirded out that like, do nuns still exist? And you're so young and stuff like that. And people are weirded out that she would give up romance and sex. But I think I got the vibe from her that it's like she is devoted to the Christian God, so she wants to do this. She wants to help people. She finds meaning in this vocation, uh, while at the same time it allows her to not have to deal with romance and sex. So like I think it's a combining these things. It's a combo of these things. Like there's assumptions that a lot of historical asexual and aromantic people would have like become nuns or monks or stuff like that, like devoted they really life to religion because that's what you did if you didn't want to get married. So like that's like a modern version of that. And like in comparison, I think I mentioned it. I've mentioned this in one video, some video, probably when I talked about Slow, the Lithuanian movie from 2023. Uh, that movie has Davidas, who's an asexual man, who gets into this relationship with Elena, who's rather promiscuous, but who has a nun friend, like a friend who became a nun actually around probably at the same age that Colin is in the movie. So, and Elena meets up with that friend. I forgot to look up her name again. So she's talking about that, like, don't you miss like your high school boyfriend making out and all that stuff? And she's like, not really. Like my biggest issue is having to wake up so damn early. She doesn't say damn, but like it's the meaning of it. So like that's like it's interesting to look up Little Sister, where the devotion and lack of interest in sex and romance like are combined, and then you have a slow where there's the devotion and willingness to give up sex because of that, and then there's the just lack of it. Davidas is just lack of interest in sex. So yeah, this I don't have that much to say about Little Sister. I was actually at some point gonna talk about in combination with another movie, and let us say apparently, because there's not that much to say. It's an indie movie. There's not that much plot. It's a fine little movie, but there's not that much to say when it comes to specifically about its portrayal of asexuality, more in the religion and that combination. So the extra topic of this video is asexuality and religion, or lack of it, and I'm basically not gonna get too deeply into this. So let's not do that. I don't know, the picture quality is weird. So anyway, for the rest of this video, I'm gonna give you tidbits if you want to experience, if you want to read or watch other pieces of media that deal with asexuality and religion or atheism. So let's start with Alisa Rice, First Comes Like. It's part of a book series with somewhat interconnected characters, and this is basically the only demisexual romance book that I absolutely love, that I really, really liked. It's about Jia Ahmed. As you can see, she's South Asian, she's hijabi, she's Muslim, and her love interest is Hindu. And she's also demisexual. She doesn't use the word, but it's pretty clear in the writing and feels intentional. And I really much enjoyed this, but I'm not neither Muslim nor Hindu, so I don't know how the possible religious romantic tension, whether it's handled well or not. But I enjoyed this book. Happy Ramadan Mubarak, for if I have any Muslim people watching this. So yeah, I enjoyed this book. I can vouch for the religious stuff of it though. Then for different kind of religion, there's the American Horror Story, season 3, Coven. It has the character of Misty Day, who's Word of God. Interesting choice. Word of God, asexual, and she's also a practicing witch. So if you want that representation, then I think this season is mostly decent considered. I haven't really watched the other seasons. Then another a bit a bit different. There's the Something in the Dirt. There's you can see it. So there's Levi, who's asexual, and he comes out as asexual to his neighbor John, and John is like, he's part of some kind of weird kind of like apocalyptic cult, possibly, and he's like, oh, I can totally get you not having sex. That's like, why would you? Because like the world is gonna end anyway. So, and Levi is understandably weirded out by that. So that's like a bit of a different connection that religion and asexuality can have. Then if you want Jewish asexuality, there's Mary and Max. I've already talked about it. I've talked about all the movies already. So there's Max Horowitz. He's Jewish, though he by heritage, but he's atheist. Couldn't become an atheist in his old age. But him being Jewish is important part of him, and he's also asexual and aromantic. Another Jewish asexuality example is Haley Neal's Planning Perfect. Felicity Becker is Jewish by heritage, though not really that religious, and some of the cultural aspect are also like she's lacking some of those, but like her Jewish heritage is important to her. But I'm not Jewish, so I don't know how or how any Jew might feel about it. But I liked it, and I enjoyed how much of being Jewish was part of her identity and her asexuality. Not really, it wasn't, but yeah. Anyway, I enjoyed that book. That's what I'm gonna say. And then possibly there's Roshana Saturji. She's Bengali from Kolkata. So I think she is Hindu, at least somewhat. It's been a while since I read these comics, but I love her, so I want to mention her. This is yeah, she's awesome. Please read The Movement. I hope she comes back again. I miss her. I think that was. Oh, of course. Like when you think about nuns, you think Catholics, even though Catholics are not the only people who have nuns. But here are some actually Catholics, asexuals. Rafael Santiago from Shadowhunters, the Mortal Instruments book series and TV series. He is raised a good Catholic. He's asexual, and his romantic orientation is kind of a messy, but I think he is still somewhere on the Arrow spectrum, even in the TV series. It's complicated. And then there is Esperanza Cruz, aka Spooner, who is Latina and asexual. She finds out in season 7. Unfortunately, all her pictures are very, very tiny. But yeah, I love her. I also think she's aromantic, but no one told her aromantic is a thing. She just found out that asexual is a concept that so she identifies only as asexual. So yeah, but I love her, and these are worth watching for her, I think. And then, but if you want atheistic asexuality, I already talked in my previous video in this series. I talked about Gary Bilby, that it's kind of like rather like an atheistic end of the Western year holiday movie. Like she talks, prays to God or Jesus during Christmas Eve, but it's like, I don't know if I'm talking to anyone. I don't really think you exist, but I just feel like expressing the fact that I want good things in the world. Whatever. It was nice. That aspect of it was nice, and it's interesting that it's a Christmas movie that acknowledges, partly a Christmas movie that acknowledges the religious aspect of it, when so many Christmas movies don't. They just ignore the actual religious aspect of it. But if you want an atheist lead in a book, I guess. One of the few things I liked about the Charm Offensive, yeah, is that Charlie Winsor is atheist, although I think it's only mentioned like once, so it doesn't really, it doesn't play a big part. It's mostly in contrast because he's meeting the family of a very religious woman. So, but yeah, it's a nice tidbit in the book. And then there's Die A-Karte by Carmilla de Winter. It's a German book. My German is very bad, but I've read this and I really enjoyed that. Someone in this book mentioned that often a lot of, like this one, I should have talked about this when I talked about ace groups, because like these aces have a group chat and in some situation, somewhere in the book, people talk about like lots of asexuals also end up being somewhere in the atheist agnostic spectrum, and I thought that was fun. I think the main asexual in this book, Benedict Niehaus, I think he's agnostic. But it's also kind of weird because like the actual main character is an incubus, who a demon who works for female Lucifer, and like someone summons Odin in this book. So Benedict being agnostic is weird, but that makes more sense in the world of this book than atheism. Again, I don't understand everything about this book, but I understood that part. Yeah. And one more. Ooh. Yeah. Interesting flavor. But anyway, the best examination of being both asexual and atheist is Kyle Bruce's Rabbit web series right here on YouTube, and I highly recommend it. If you want to check it out, episode 3 is called Be My Boyfriend, which is about queerness and about asexuality. Establishes that Rabbit is asexual, and Kyle Brew has some very interesting thoughts on why specifically he made Rabbit asexual, and it's just very interesting. On Christmas Eve 2024, they dropped a Christmas special, the Rabbit the Rabbit Christmas special. Yeah, that's how it's called. And like that was surprise like that is so good, but like surprisingly triggering. Like I'm not a god carrying atheist. I am inked in my skin atheist. I don't think you can actually see it because the picture quality is so weird. I'm also a Latinist, so that's why it's in Latin actually, as is my YouTube title, my name, YouTube name, whatever. Noctica is Latin. But yeah, the Christmas special is so good, but it might feel triggering to especially like a Christianity based atheist. But yeah, but it's really good. I can highly recommend it. So I didn't talk about the little sister that much in this one, but I hope I recommended you some interesting asexual characters, and maybe at some point I will make a proper video where I talk about asexuality and religion or lack of it, or make a video about my atheism or something. If any of that's interesting, please let me know in the comments. And again, thank you, you lovely 8 people who follow me, who have subscribed to me. I really, really appreciate it. So, bye. Happy March.